Thank you very much, Keshwa Madhav Prabhu, for singing. And here, Hare Krishna, liebe Gäste, liebe Devotees, ein sehr schönes Willkommen zu unserem Sonntagsprogramm hier im Krishna-Tempel Zürich. Hare Krishna, dear guests, a very, very warm welcome to our Sunday program in our Krishna-Tempel Zurich. Someone here for the first time? Okay, then perfect. I think you know the program. We will have a usual Sunday program, but our time, which we usually allot for a lecture, for a talk, today will be a special program. I think a year ago, a group of devotees, they launched a project called a Sacred Tree Project. It's a project to facilitate the members of our community to experience valuable Krishna conscious experiences and growing there, having good association. And they have, it's kind of a 1 year completion. And to celebrate this completion, there will be a special program today. There will be a talk on what it means, a community, the power of community. There will be a presentation on the project itself, so for anyone who wants to join in the future can join. And there will be some experiments, some mock-up sessions with you, and at the end also handouts of certification for the devotees who have completed this. Does it sound good for you? Okay. Come on, please, a little bit more encouragement and for all this. I know myself to launch a project is quite an endeavor and needs a lot of energy, so I think I myself will take this opportunity also to thank the devotees, especially Devashri Radhika Mataji and her team for doing this. And I'm also curious what will happen now, so I think I will hand over the mic to Krishna Prem Prabhu. Okay. And before we start, braucht jemand eine deutsche Übersetzung? Not, if not, and second request, please come very close to the front. It's cold today. We need some water. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We can put the Vyasasana there. Actually, we were thinking like Satyananda Maharaj's style. Just in front of the pillar, we can put it. Yes, please. Thank you so much. You might just have to be careful that this doesn't fall because it's a smaller table.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So let's just have a short bhajan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayurata Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Ki Jai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Okay, so our topic is community building, how to create a community. That's interesting. Let's see. Yeah, now it works. So, I'm aware that there's a lot of things we could say about, and I was also interested in a topic to explore more about. But then I ended up with sticking to our bhakti tradition. So I think it's good we can hear more afterwards also. But I will quote from Srila Rupa Goswami, some advice on how to create community from the Upadeshamrita. And we also hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam some advice from Narada Muni on how to enter relationships or have a successful interaction and community. So the first one is quite a famous shloka, which most of you maybe know. This is from the Upadeshamrita, and it describes 6 loving exchanges. Tadhati prati grinati goyam akhyati prichati bhunkte pujayate jaiva satvidin vridilakshanam. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Purport, I will just read a part of it. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. There are 6 kinds of activities. 1, giving charity to the devotees. 2, accepting from devotees whatever they may offer in return. 3, opening one's mind to the devotee. 4, inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord. 5, honoring prasad, or spiritual food, given by the devotees. And 6, feeding the devotees with prasad. An experienced devotee explains, and an inexperienced devotee learns from him. This is Guyam Akyati Prichati. And then Prabhupada explains Prasadam, Punkte Bhujayate Jaiva. And Prabhupada explains that even in an ordinary activity, like a businessman, if he wants to do good business, he invites the partner to a business lunch. They have prasad. They eat together in a restaurant, and then they make a deal. No? So creating a good atmosphere. So Prabhupada makes the point, even in ordinary dealings, giving a gift, inviting for lunch or dinner, exchange, that's all activities which nourishes relationships And then Prabhupada says, in the previous verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised that one should renounce worldly association and keep company with devotees. Sangha Tyagat Sato Vrite. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between the devotees. And then later Prabhupada says, the life of the Krishna Conscious Society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges among the members. Therefore, people must be given a chance to associate with the devotees. Because simply by reciprocating in these 6 ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. So this is one example that we find in Shastra. Rupa Goswami explains that if we have these 6 exchanges, then that will create friendship and relationship amongst each other. Giving a gift, accepting a gift, offering some food, accepting food or prasad, and also inquiring confidentially, have some personal exchange, asking questions, speaking with each other. Like that. And from this we can see the importance of community or friendship. And Srila Prabhupada also would say that actually if someone sings, he can practice this Krishna consciousness outside of the society of devotees. This is hallucination. How do you say? Hallucination. Hallucination in English. Like it's not really possible. No? Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga, or the spiritual practice of cultivating love for Krishna is practiced in the association of others. Because Bhakti is all about basically softening the heart. No? We want to increase our ability to love. And finally we want to love God, we want to love every living entity. And this we have to train in the association with other devotees. It's very important that we keep good relationships, have deep friendships, and together we can grow in our spiritual life. And if someone thinks he doesn't need friendship, he can just do it on his own, that's not really gonna work. So basically we need each other's to spiritually grow. And of course this is also what the community means. A community basically is a network of relationships where people feel belonging, they are seen, they take shared responsibility and for something meaningful. And in simple terms we can say a community exists when people can say, I'm known here, people know me, I matter, I contribute, and we carry something together, we have a mission to do something together. Then this is community. And some of the key elements of a community might be, as we said, belonging. I am accepted the way I am. Like if I come to a place and people just take me the way I am and I can be myself, then I feel home. I feel like this is a place I like to be. And of course there is relationships, living connections. It's not just I attending a program. Or if you just attend the program without any interaction with anyone, how long you will attend the program? So we're all looking for some interaction, relationship, connection, and a shared purpose. We are here for something bigger than ourselves. We want to do something. Of course, Krishna consciousness, spiritual life is the greatest adventure because we want to develop love for God. We want to become, the best version of ourselves. It's a great adventure. And of course, as a movement, we also like to share Krishna consciousness with others. So it's a great mission that we actually have. And then participation. I'm not only a consumer, but a co-creator. No, if you come to the temple, we not only want to consume, but we also want to be part. We want to contribute with something. And we also feel responsible. We care what happens. We want to contribute. We want to be part of what's going on. So if these are there, belonging, relationship, a purpose, participation, responsibility, then we have community. And if these are not there, then we have a crowd of people sitting in the same room, or we have some program going on, some institution, organized religion, but we don't really have a community. And so Rupa Goswami gives these 6 principles of loving exchange, which is a powerful way to cultivate because it's all about relationship. No, it's about interaction with others. And the first one is Dadati Prati Grinati, that we're receiving gifts and we're giving gifts. This seems to be sometimes, okay, yeah, there is Christmas, we just had Christmas, no, you get some gifts. Or maybe when someone has birthday. But actually, to give a gift is something very beautiful. And to receive is also very nice, no? Everyone likes gifts. And what happens, this actually deepens a friendship very much. I'll give you an example. Many years back, one devotee, Nitya Chandra from Biel, some of you know him. He has a tattoo shop. Once we were in India and we were walking through some bazaar, there was a huge painting of Lord Jagannath, traditional painting of Lord Jagannath. And I liked it very much. And you could see that I really like it. But it was a little expensive and brahmachari don't have money. And so he said, oh, you like it? I'll buy it for you. And not only did he buy the picture, but once we were back in Switzerland, he also arranged to actually frame the picture in a very big, very good quality frame, and he personally came and fixed it on my wall. And it's still there. No? And whenever I see that picture, of course I remember Lord Jagannath, because Jagannath is there, but I also remember Nitya Gaur Chandra. And that's the magic of gifts. You somehow, and I still feel very grateful. Like, so nice, such a nice devotee, I don't have so much interaction with him nowadays, we're living different lives, but still, somehow, I remember him. So similarly, sometimes we may give a gift to someone, and that person will remember us, because it was an expression of loving exchange. And Guyam Akyati Prichati, of course, is very important. Hearing in confidence, we listen. And sometimes people, they just want to talk to us, and we may think, oh, what should I say? What should I say? What is the solution? But they only need someone to listen. Just giving an ear to someone, listening, it can help so much. And also, of course, ourselves, we also have a need sometimes to talk about something which is really, we have some issues, we want to express our heart, and then this exchange gives a very deep connection. And then, as we said, Punkte Pujayate Jeva, offering food, cooking, serving, and receiving is also a very beautiful thing to do. I remember when I was quite new in Krishna consciousness, I spent my first year in India, in Orissa, and I was a new fellow, no idea about Krishna consciousness. One of my services was serving prasadam, and for a whole year, every day, morning and afternoon, I would huge buckets of rice and dalma, sabji and dal serving every day. And I really started to love that service. Because, you give prasadam to all the different devotees. And it's such a exchange, loving exchange, serving, accepting food. Prasadam. So then it says Sadvidim Priti Lakshanam. Priti Lakshanam means these are the symptoms of love, these 6 exchanges. And of course, if they're done by love, and doing by love means without expectation. I'm not giving a gift and I expecting something in return, right? But it's just giving out of love because I want to appreciate that person. So I think we can ask sometimes ourselves, how much do I apply these principles? No? How often do I apply these 6 in my life? And we can try to improve, maybe do more, and think of some devotee I really like, and what gift could I give him, or her, like that. Okay, so that's one aspect. Of course, there is also challenges when we try to have a community. There are challenges. One challenge we often speak is diversity. Sometimes people complain, there's so many different people here. You have the Indian devotees, and you have the Ukrainian, Russian-speaking devotees, a few Swiss devotees also somewhere. And how do we fit all together? There's young and old, and male and female, and so many different nations, different culture. How can we create community? And sometimes we prefer people who think alike, speak alike, behave alike, agree easily. This feels like peaceful, but actually that's not really unity. It's the ability to stay connected while there is differences, which is important. No, we should learn to actually appreciate diversity. So community does not become strong because everything is similar. It becomes strong when people learn to love across the differences. When we start to learn to appreciate. Actually, it's nice if we have people from different communities, different traditions, because this gives us a much more broader picture. So that's one aspect. And of course, then sometimes when we come to a community, we think everyone is a pure devotee, these are all saintly people, and then after a couple of months we realize they're also humans. They also have some ego here, and I didn't thought that he would behave like that. And then there is conflicts, and that's not so surprising. Wherever there is people coming together, there is conflict. There is diversity of personalities, there is some shared responsibility. There's always conflicts will come. Since if a community has no conflict, it usually means people are afraid to speak, or the power is unbalanced. It's just one dictator who tells everything, or the members are emotionally disengaged. So paradoxically, conflict is often a sign of life and care. No? If there is a conflict in a community, in a way it's a good sign. No? People are speaking openly, and there is some interaction, there's life going on. So the conflict in itself is not the problem. So what actually destroys a community is not the conflict, but it's the gossip instead of dialogue, the silence instead of clarity. Like these kind of things which create difficulties. So basically, if there is conflict, that's not really the problem, but we should find ways to deal with that and come together and talk about it. Another challenge, or sometimes people say, well, the leadership is not creating such an atmosphere, or we say it's very impersonal. If I go to the temple, nobody knows me, nobody has time for me. We only have the Haribol relationships. Do you know the Haribol relationship? You see each other in the corridor. Haribol, Haribol. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. The next week you see each other again. Haribol, Haribol. And this goes over years, And there's people, who have been around and you don't know even their names. You never really had a personal interaction or conversation. Because it's just a Haribol relationship. Haribol. So, yes, that sometimes this is there. But the thing is, we can complain about this, or we can take responsibility, because friendship is not that. Friendship is an active principle; it's not passive. So you can't wait for someone to notice you or reach out and just there is a friendship with someone. But maybe we also have to take a step, and we have to be a friend ourselves, invest and give, and then something is coming in return. And that's also an important principle. Basically, giving creates the soil for receiving. No, like planting a seed, you water, you nurture, you protect, and only then can something grow and you can receive. There is fruits. So you first give, you care, you nourish, and then something comes also in return. So friendship, relationship means that you also, from your side, invest. You do something. Because sometimes people sit there nobody likes me. Nobody is my friend. Nobody wants to talk to me. Well, do you talk to someone? No. Do you approach people? Do you care? Do you invest? So it's kind of, it requires both sides. So to have friends, be a friend first. To receive connection, give connection first. That kind of, it's an important principle also. And then the time is almost up. Srila Prabhupada would say that these temples, these communities are actually meant to be like Vaikuntha. This is a place, Vaikuntha means a place without anxiety, without fear. It's a place where there's love and trust. It's a very special place. And but in order to create such a Vaikuntha atmosphere, we need to have a Vaikuntha consciousness also. And every person has to develop that Vaikuntha consciousness. And I'd like to end with the advice by Narada Muni. Narada Muni, he gives that advice to Dhruva, and he makes this point. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate toward him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. And then Prabhupada gives a very sobering purport. Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious. Okay? Someone is more qualified. Many people in this room, everyone has some talent, some qualities. If I noticed, this guy plays better mridanga than I become envious, usually. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. Someone is less qualified, maybe younger or not experienced, then we have a tendency to, And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activity. These are the cause of material tribulation. The great sage, Narada, therefore advises that the devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be very jolly to receive him. If someone is more qualified, you should be very happy, because now he's someone I can learn from. It's very nice. Instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate toward him, just to raise him to the proper standards. Someone is junior, does not know, then we feel compassion. Okay, let's help. Let's bring it up, bring the person up. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. So, the tendency is to be envy, to enjoy the power that we have, to be proud, but the qualities that we need to develop in order to create community, and that every single person needs to develop these qualities, otherwise what community can we expect, is non-envy. We are happy about the success of others, compassion, we want to help, elevate others, and humility, accepting there is always someone who is better. There's always some people who are better than I, and just peacefully accepting that and being. And we have these three relationships: relationship to seniors, relationship to juniors, and relationship with equals. Which one do you think is the most important or the most difficult one? Equals. Yes, equals. Because seniors, okay, what to do? I mean, he's certainly far advanced, so yes, I show respect. Someone is junior, it's easy, okay, yeah, it's junior. But equal, he joined the same time, he has same as many years of experience, he has similar qualities. Something inside it always feels a bit uneasy, There's always this kind of competition. Yeah, we are equal, but who is better? and I'm better. No, I should make sure everyone understands we are equal, but still I'm a little bit better. So that kind of competition, that kind of feeling, is always there in the conditioned soul, and this is not helpful. But rather we should develop genuine friendships. Just try to embrace the fact, hey, there's someone equal, this means I can have a very close relationship. Because seniors, there's always some distance, because we have some awe and reverence, it's a senior. And juniors, we can't really engage as close, because they lack experience. You have so much experience in this and that, you can't really share because they don't know. So it's the equals where you can have actually really deep relationship. But it is also challenging, because envy always kicks in, and then we have to be careful to let that envy go and develop sincere friendships. So these are some of the advices we find. This is the advice of Narada Muni. So we heard about two advices. One advice by Rupa Goswami, how to, just maintain and cultivate nice friendship through these 6 loving exchanges. This is what we should do actively. And then Narada Muni is warning us what we should not do, or how we should, in the consciousness that we have, the mood that we cultivate, how we should interact and relate to others. And I think if we remember these two advices, the advice of Rupa and the advice of Narada, we have a good recipe to create a nice community, at least, or do our part. Of course, we can always wait that the leader will create some magical, wonderful community. But we can also take responsibility and do our part by cultivating these qualities. Hare Krishna. So, and of course, the project which will be now introduced, the Sacred Tree project, which Devashri Radhika has developed, is meant to create a platform, create opportunity for exchanges, for friendship, for developing such a community spirit, and we're very grateful for doing that service, and we will just hear more about it.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Krishna Prema. A round of applause for this very beautiful presentation. This was also an exercise to wake you up, because if you move a little bit, you wake up. Initially, my thought was that maybe I should be there trying to share with you. But I recollected how Sacred Tree is very much based on the principle of friendship, which means you don't go sit there, you are part of the community, and that's where you have the friendship and the discourse and the dialogue. So it might need a little bit neck twisting for you, but I will sit here if it's okay for everybody, and we can know a little bit more about Sacred Tree. And before we kind of explore this concept of Sacred Tree, which we started off calling it as Sacred Tree Project, but let me announce publicly, today we dropped the word project, because we recognize how Sacred Tree is a lot about the people rather than the outcome of a project or something. It's about our membership and so on. So just before we kind of dive into this, and Narayani, our technical person, will be taking us through this journey while I yap away. So, just a quick question for you. Let's say if I want to, I'll just borrow your phone. If I want to pick up this phone, is it easier if I pick it up with one finger or with 5?
5.
Magdalena, what do you think? 5. And by this very simple example, we understand that we don't have to do life alone, We don't have to go through Krishna consciousness alone. We don't have to go through difficult parts of our life alone. And I can say, personally, I've been a person who thought I could just do it alone, people, why people? And japa alone, book reading alone, sharing things, not really my cup of tea. But then, when you practice Krishna consciousness, you get touched by people in your life, and then the transformation happens. And then I realized I'm being so silly. Why don't I carry the weight of my life with the 5 fingers rather than trying to do it with 1 finger? It's just a sign of intelligence and common sense. And I remember Keshava Swami, he was sharing 4 mistakes that he did in his life. And one of them, he said that I thought I have to do it alone. But this is where community comes in, and when we say the word community, it's just one word, but it's a very loaded word, and it means so many things: trust, friendship, mistakes, sharing, giving, taking. Yesterday I was speaking with Daria, right? Daria just broke her left hand. So I was speaking with her and we were discussing, and she was like, Devashri, it's so uncomfortable. Sorry to put you on the spot. But she was saying, Devashri, it's so uncomfortable that I cannot fully operate because, my left hand is non-functional and people are doing things for me. It's so uncomfortable. And I was like, Daria, it's exactly how I felt. But then we came to this conclusion, actually community means to give, but also to take. And Narayani, my friend, she often says that, it's also a service to be served, right? Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu very nicely spoke about, this attitude of giving and serving. But also, relationship is a two-way traffic, just like love. So you give and you take. So you build that friendship, but you also allow others to build with you. So I was thinking we can just explore what Sacred Tree is. Many of our members of the Sacred Tree are here, and I'm very grateful because all of this endeavor is possible because all of us felt this need and we contributed together. So let's move on and see what do we have. So Sacred Tree is a living initiative. It's very much focused on personal growth through community. So each of us are individually growing through a community. It's just like how a very big tree has one root, one branch, and that's the community. And how a well-thriving community can lead to well-thriving personalities. Personal growth is very much linked to community growth. So what is the vision and purpose? How many of you have known the example of the redwood forest? Anyone knows here? The redwood forest? Narayani, what do you know about the redwood forest? Yes.
Can I hand it over to you, please?
Okay, or you can just say without the mic if you like. But what do we know about the redwood forest? Who would like to say? Katerina, would you like to share? You know about? Yes.
Radhanath Swami Maharaj likes this story very much, so thanks to him I know that the redwood trees, they are interconnected with their roots. They are mostly famous that when young tree is planted, it gets full support of the net of roots of the older trees. And all the trees, they can support each other on long distances, and although they grow on not really good soil, this soil is not really stable. They make it stable due to their interconnections.
So just to take the inspiration of this interconnectedness, these trees are huge. They are giant trees and really old. But then the magic happens is the fact that their roots are deep and interconnected, as you can see in this image. And then we just see this is kind of motivating the vision and purpose behind Sacred Tree, where we are strengthening personal and spiritual connections and therefore cultivating really a family mood within the community. And like Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu said, you're not just people sitting in a room, you're part of a community. So what are the different practices to create belonging through care? Maybe you can just randomly shout out one of those. Anyone who has a nice voice, loud voice can read one. That's my specialty, to put people on the spot. So you are stuck with me for a few minutes. But please, let's create that synergy. You can just read out one point. We start, maybe Magdalena, you look very brave. Would you like to start?
Recognize that we all need care at some point in some way.
Next.
Develop a deep understanding of self in order to be in better relationship with others.
Next.
Share what you need in order to be cared for well.
Next.
Protect your and other people's time to rest.
Next.
Practice vulnerability in ways that are reciprocal.
Next.
Cultivate intimacy.
You were smart, you got the short one. Next.
Make connections between the micro and the macro.
So these are the different ways, we can think about care and to create a sense of belonging. If you like, you can meditate on this, but this is also not just about a spiritual community, but really to create a community wherever we go, whether it's at work, whether it's within your own family or however. So Sacred Tree is pretty much based on these principles, and of course it's an initial journey. In our yatra, care has been present. Different devotees have been practicing this principle of care, and we try to now condensify it. And that is what became the Sacred Tree, where we are in a very young starting phase. So of course there will be mistakes made, but still, people that come together come with such a beautiful attitude, and with everybody, if everyone's walking into it with the principle of care, you can imagine the synergy, the atmosphere it creates. So Sacred Tree is a 42-week guided journey. So we do like 4 weeks of sessions online over Zoom right now. Then we have a break, and then we have a session where we do something together. The other day, Chiro and I cooked for the deities together. Then Narayani also had a session where they made like ghee lamps for the deities together. We not just do like those kind of things, but we also do other things, like we went on a picnic together in the rain. Bairam remembers also very clearly. So we do fun. We are a fun group of people, and we just want to expand the fun. And this morning, I was hearing a lecture of Srila Prabhupada where he mentioned, we are happy people and we want to make others happy. And Sacred Tree is not about, the temple needs a community, we don't want to operate from a place of lack. We are beautiful souls coming together, and let's create something amazing out of, this energy that we bring about together. So it's simply the fact that when we come together, we care about each other's spiritual growth, regardless of the output or the result one is giving. So it's not so much about the externalities, but about the internal core value that we can all be part of a spiritual journey and each care about each other's growth. So we meet once every week. We have a group discussion, and then we have a reflection. So it's not like a teacher-student format, but really all of us, of course, we have some very senior devotees also part of this. And like we have a facilitator format where the facilitator facilitates the discussion. We open it up, and of course the seniors are there to give their, wisdom, etc. At the same time, you still have a voice to reflect. Okay, this makes sense to me. Okay, I don't understand this. This is how I practice this point of Krishna consciousness. So it's a lot of reflection that happens. And then we give a platform or opportunity to make friendships and know each other better. In our group it has been that some people have been coming to the temple forever, but they never spoke. But then when they were stuck in one screen on Zoom together, then they started having conversation, and now they are good, pretty okay friends. Chiro's laughing, I guess he has some experience also with that. And also lastly, reciprocal relationships, to give care and also receive care, to give knowledge, receive knowledge. So this reciprocity is very important. So we have 7 levels, Bija, Praroha, Mula. We try to make it as nerdy as possible for some friends of mine. And we keep Sanskrit terms to also, honor our roots, the Vedic roots. And we call it a journey from seed to fruit. And what is the fruit? It's the fruit of Krishna consciousness that blossoms in your heart. And the focus in these 7 levels is very much self-growth and spiritual development. And also this sacred tree gradually it carves our path to mentorship, where if you want to take some serious steps and in your Krishna consciousness, or you feel bewildered about something and you need some guidance. So we offer gradually encouragement and guidance, community and mentorship. And let me just say that it's not an overnight process. We are in a process of building something together. So we know the 6C ladder model. It's very much, it's quite famous in the Congregation Development Ministry of ISKCON. And I've just tweaked it a little bit to really suit what Sacred Tree does. So first we have contact, right? We meet a person. Then there is cultivation. We kind of genuinely develop that friendship. Then we congregate. We get similar-minded people together. Then there is commitment. Most of the people here, they made this commitment. Okay, I will show up for our meetings. And then there is care, these interpersonal exchanges and continuity. So it's not like it ends with Sacred Tree, but we continue this culture of care that we have. So now is where it gets even more awkward, because this is a part where all of us get to participate and may not fit in well with our Swiss reserved way of doing things. So we might have to loosen up a little bit. If you want to stand up and shake yourself and be ready for this. This is a trial run which we want to do, just to give you a taste of how Sacred Tree is done. So we will do some reading together, and then I will say, let's pause and reflect. So that's what essentially how we do Sacred Tree. We read, and then we stop and we reflect. And then this is pretty much what we will follow, just to give you a taste of how Sacred Tree is done, and which is kind of a combination of Krishna consciousness as well as some self-personal introspective tools that we can carry. So this is an excerpt from week 9 of our module, Addressing the Inner Battle. How many of you have ever had inner battles? I guess everybody, right? So this is what we will read, and I will pass the mic around. If any of you are very hesitant and very shy, I don't want anyone to feel pushed, but then just pass it on to another eager person. And in this hall, I hope all of us can be eager. And I will start with Uttama Shloka Prabhu.
Addressing the inner battle. What is the inner battle? Do you ever feel stuck in a situation or torn between the right and the wrong? That is when you know you are dealing with some kind of internal battle or conflict. We struggle with inner conflicts in our daily lives due to the following reasons.
We can now maybe ask somebody else to read.
Attachment to our beliefs, resistance to change, uncontrolled desires which lead to frustration when unfulfilled, inaccuracy in our priorities, lack of self-awareness.
So let's pause here a little bit, and what essentially we are discussing here is this inner battle of, the right and the wrong. And then we get an insight into how this inner battle actually, which we kind of go through every day. How many of you have experienced that maybe some of these in some way show up in your life every day? Right? And what we essentially do is we read together and we share some personal experiences. And I can just say one thing I could share is about resistance to change. And this is how we do Sacred Tree. We sometimes share our personal experiences which could help each other. And resistance to change. And it's something which I was just reflecting after my conversation with Daria, that I had this very difficult situation where it was very difficult for me to take help. Like, oh no, I can manage, I don't want help. And then in January, I underwent a spine problem where I could barely walk. And then I had to, learn how to change this way where I don't take help, because I had to rely on people. And I made some really great friendships and some really incredible people who I will forever remain indebted to came forward. There is a devotee of our congregation, Yogeshwar Krishna Prabhu. I had some difficulty with him. We had an argument. And when he got to know that I had this spine problem, he took me to the doctor. He recommended me the best chiropractor, and our relationship is in the best state possible. And you see how sometimes our inner battle that's there because of our attachment, our uncontrolled desires can really tear us apart. But that's the time to ask, why is it happening? So let's maybe go to our next speaker. Whoever would like to read it.
We are always with our inner thoughts, even when we are surrounded by many people. Perhaps the greatest battle is the one that occurs within us.
So yeah, this is pretty much something all of us agree to. And would you like to read the translation of this, or you can go ahead and read it?
Okay, from wherever the mind wanders to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self.
And you must be thinking, what is the connection between the mind and the inner battle, right? This is what the Bhagavad Gita says. But why are we talking about the mind suddenly? I just spoke about the spine, but why the mind now? So let's move on and see why. This is a very interesting story, if someone would like to read it. We can also pass it to the other part of the room. Anybody here would like to read it?
Illusion of the moon. A child asks their mother, "Mother, I want to hold the moon in my hand." The mother tries to explain that it is not possible, but the child keeps insisting and starts crying. So the mother places a mirror in the child's hand and positions it in such a way that the reflection of the moon is visible in the mirror. The child is happy with the illusion and believes that they have the moon. However, when the child tries to move the mirror, the reflection of the moon goes away, and after a few attempts, the child is frustrated. In that moment, the child understands the futility of such illusory enjoyment.
And why we put this story here as part of the inner battle is sometimes in our mind we have these illusions of what will satisfy us, what is good for us. And then, like this child, we crave to our mother that we want the moon, which is sometimes so impossible, but that's what we want. And we get it. And then we realize that, okay, this was totally nonsense. This is not something that satisfied me or helped me. So let's move on from here. Anybody else would like to read the next part? Any one of you?
I'll try. Initially, I thought I suffered because of other people, but I realized that I was wrong. Next, I thought I suffered because of the astrological configurations, as the stars were against me. I was wrong again. Then I thought probably I suffered due to my karma. I was wrong another time. Finally, I thought I suffered because of the time, as eventually everyone has to suffer owing to time. However, I conclude that the only root cause of my suffering in this world is my own mind. I suffered because of my own mindset and mental state. If I had spent time working on the inner world, then perhaps every other bit of chaos around me wouldn't have the same effect and impact on my consciousness.
You have a very nice reading voice. So you see, this is what we are getting, and these are the kind of provocative, thought-provoking exercises that we do at Sacred Tree. And now we come to a conclusion. We try to cram the whole 1 hour session in these few minutes. Now we come to a point, how to overcome an inner battle. Would any of you like to read it? There? Just go ahead and read the last part.
How to overcome an inner battle. 99.9% of the people in this world place the empathy and their lives on the outside world, the surroundings, the external environment, whereas a spiritualist places the empathies within on the inner world.
Thank you. And once we do this kind of, really brainstorming about some deep topics which are applicable not just to our practice of bhakti, but also gives us tool to think about life in general, then we conclude with a Vedic principle. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now therefore inquire into the absolute truth. So this is how Sacred Tree is shaped. You're not just shoving down philosophy, but you're actually thinking about what you're consuming. You're thinking about why you're doing what you're doing, and so on. And this happens also, of course, in a nice group of like-minded people, and we try as much as possible to respect each other's view and also be okay with the fact that someone would have a different view. So this was just a little bit of an insight of how Sacred Tree sessions happen. And because the time is running quite fast, we had to kind of race through it. But I would invite all of you to just come take part, because even if you cannot commit to one session, we have the Sacred Tree talk series coming up, and we have some really amazing speakers from around the world, which will be talking about inner work, relationship building, having a relationship with yourself and others. And if you are interested, you are very much welcome to join us for these talk series, which we would launch in a couple of days. And please, I request, please do consider staying connected with us. We are on the temple website, sacredtree@krishna.seha. And also, that's our email. And then we have the link for the website below that. So give it a try. It's not like once you join, we keep you there forever. We try, but you can still leave. But try it out and see, because it has been quite an amazing experience for me personally, but also some of my friends who are on board. And I guess you would also very much relish it. It might take a little bit coming out of your shell. But yesterday we heard from His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj that a lobster, as long as it remains in the shell it belongs to, it always remains a small lobster. But when it wants to expand, then it has to break out of the shell. So I encourage you to just break out of your shell. And now we come at a juncture. We want to create a culture of appreciation. So we just wanted to also give out the certificates. Like I said, there are different levels that we have. And we want to also give out the certificates to the devotees who are joining Sacred Tree, who have completed the different levels. And I would just request two of our very senior devotees, Govinda Prabhu and Bhaktilabha Prabhu, to please be here while we give out the certificates. And of course, please be a sport and chant Hari Bol and loud applause. We can shout it, yes. A loud applause for our devotees, yes. And also those who received the certificates, that would be very encouraging. Many of them could not make it because either they are sick or, as you can see, it's snowing heavily outside. For each of you, like we heard, right, Dadati Pratigrinati, giving presents. We cannot afford very expensive presents because of many of you. At least we have a flyer and a bookmark for each of you. So I will request Tulasi Rasa to please distribute this gradually. Once maybe we give out the certificates, please do make it a point to collect a flyer and a bookmark. And next what I will do is I will just call out the name of our devotees. Like I mentioned to you, many of them could not be here. Would it be okay for you to... We also have a little token of presents for them. And yes. Many of them could not be here because of their health reasons and also the fact that it's snowing outside and it's quite cold and so on. But we are generally a group of 20 to 21 so far. And out of them, I guess, roughly 5 or 6 are here. Most of them were like, send me my certificate by post. No, I'm joking. But they will get them later. So when you please have your name called out, please come up, receive your certificate from Govinda Prabhu and the gift from Bhaktilabha Prabhu. So first up, we have a devotee who's been doing incredible service for our temple. He is the person who personally buys the groceries for Lord Jagannath. And that is Bhagachiro Haribo. And you can exercise, keep clapping till they come and get their certificate. Why not? Okay, so the next up we have another devotee. I remember he was part of some of our CVS courses and so on. And then I saw that he expanded his scope of services. Now he's at the shop, he's at serving prasadam. And it's very beautiful to see how a devotee just kind of, integrates into the community. And that devotee is Bairam. So next up we have another very special person. She, just the aura she radiates is a very sattvic, yogic aura, and she's a person who's been associated with our yatra for quite some while now. And you just know her as a person of deep thoughts and beautiful friendship. And you will often see her, during festivals, decorating the special Abhishek table for the deities, and showing up for Sunday feast. She lives really far away. She lives in Bern. But this is what Sacred Tree creates. It creates channels where you can still stay connected while being physically apart. And that devotee is Okay, so next up, actually, it's very interesting. It's a relatively young devotee, and we met her at the university program, actually, and somehow she said, nice, I would like to know more, and she kind of got connected, and then she got connected to Sacred Tree. It was a little bit of a difficult start, but once she's in, now she's like at the temple regularly, part of the community, you know, doing as much service as possible. And then you have to tell her, stop doing seva, it's all right, you know. But it's just that you see that sometimes people are so moved by the love they receive, they just want to give. And one of those persons is our very own hand-broken Darya. Please pray that she gets better with her hand. She also has 3 of them. Even despite one hand being operational, Darya managed. Next up, we have another very wonderful person. She is also a devotee far, far away, but she is connected with us in our heart, and she is here for the festivals, very eager to serve. She's also heading one of the aspects of the deity department, which is like looking for the kitchen helpers, which is kind of a support system to the kitchen services of the deities and so on. And just to tell you that we are not attracting only devotees who do service. We just got a group of people got together, and just gradually you see that people just want to do more, you know. They just naturally feel like, I would like to kind of be a bit more connected. I would like to do this, I would like to do that. And a result of such a beautiful connection is our Katerina. Yes, everyone receives one certificate for every level. Okay, so the rest of the devotees, some of them I don't see here, so I guess that would be it. Thank you very much, Govinda Prabhu and Bhaktaravi Prabhu. And I just wanted to also introduce you to the Sacred Tree team, because one thing we believe in, if you create Sangha, here, when it comes to building something, that's only when you can create Sangha in a bigger realm, right? And I would just request all of our members just stand up, or part of the core committee, let's say, officially. We have Narayani, Tulasi Rasa, Damodar Swarup, myself, and our 2 very senior devotees, Govinda Prabhu and Bhaktalabi Prabhu. So a round of applause for these wonderful devotees who conceive. And as you could see, you have to clap so much, but this is a little bit the culture we have in Sacred Tree, just encouraging everybody. You do something small, you do something big, it's equally important and equally beneficial and equally encouraged. So thank you very much for your valuable time, and please do reflect on being part of this community in a much more structured way, let's say, and let's inspire each other on our journey in Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And we also would like to extend our heartfelt thank you to Devashri Radhika Mataji, who actually initiated this beautiful program. She doesn't like the word project. She is actually the mastermind behind this, and just in these few months it has been proven very successful. A lot of devotees have been attracted, and we're looking forward to have more and more interested devotees come forward and join this group of Sacred Tree. Once again, thank you very much.
So now we invite you to please culminate your Sacred Tree journey with sumptuous prasad, which none of us cooked, but you can still take advantage of. And yes, and always please remember that prasadam is also an expansion of Krishna, it's Krishna's blessings. And I invite you to please come forward and take part in Sacred Tree, but also be part of our Sunday Feast community again next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
What you was talking about.
very much. Thank you. This was I can smell it. We're happy for you. But I just still read. I was just thinking, when I got to the school, you can find this like from the road.